Okay, so here's something I genuinely didn't expect to be saying out loud in 2026. Tesla is shutting down the production line that built the Model S and Model X for over a decade, and they're replacing it with a line that builds robots. Not cars, robots. Walking, talking, shaped like a person robots. And the target price they keep throwing around is roughly $25,000, which is less than what most people pay for a new car. I've been following this thing since day one, and I'll be honest with you, the story of Optimus is way stranger and way more interesting than most people give it credit for. So let me walk you through where it actually is right now, what it can really do, and why I'm more excited about it than I probably should admit. Let's rewind, shall we? Back in August 2021, Tesla holds its AI Day and Elon Musk announces a humanoid robot. The catch? There was no robot. The big reveal was literally a person in a white spandex suit dancing on stage. The whole internet roasted it, and fair enough, it looked ridiculous. Nobody took it seriously. Fast forward to now, and that joke has turned into a machine that stands about 5'8", jogs across a lab floor, cracks eggs without smashing them, folds shirts, stirs a pot, and vacuums your living room while responding to your voice. Tesla showed footage of it doing household chores and learning those tasks just from watching videos of humans. Musk straight up called it the company's biggest product ever. That's heck of a glow up from a dude in a leotard. This is the question I get the most, and the answer is actually the smartest part of the whole plan. Tesla didn't wander into robotics by accident. They've spent years building full self-driving, which uses cameras and neural networks to understand the world in real time. No LiDAR, no fancy sensors, just vision. The car looks at the world through cameras and builds a live 3D model of everything around it, then decides what to do. Now, think about what a robot needs to do. It needs to see a room, understand where things are, figure out how to move through it without knocking stuff over, and manipulate objects with its hands. This is the exact same problem as driving, just with the legs and fingers instead of wheels. So Optimus runs on the same vision-first brain that the cars use. Tesla basically gets to reuse a decade of self-driving research and point it at a robot. That is a massive head start, and it's the part of the whole thing I find most clever. But here is where it gets real. A robot like this needs a brain that can think fast, locally, without phoning home to a server, and to do all that on a small battery. That means custom silicon, and Tesla has been quietly building exactly that. In April 2026, Tesla taped out its new AI5 chip. Tape out is the moment the design is finished and handed off to a manufacturer. And here's the spicy detail. The AI5 is going into Optimus robots and Tesla's supercomputers first before it even goes into cars. The cars keep running the older AI4 hardware for now. That tells you everything about where Tesla's priorities are heading. A single AI5 reportedly delivers around 5 times the useful compute of 2 AI4 chips, and roughly matches an NVIDIA H100 on inference, which is wild for something meant to sit inside a robot's torso. And they're not stopping. AI6 is already in development with tape-out targeted for December 2026, using faster, more power-efficient memory. Musk wants a new chip roughly every 9 months, which is a brutal pace that no other car maker is even attempting. To feed all this, Tesla and SpaceX announced something called Terafab, a chip fabrication plant in Austin with a price tag somewhere between $20 and $25 billion, and Intel jumped in as a manufacturing partner. So Tesla isn't just designing the chips, they're also trying to build the factory that makes them. And that's vertical integration taken to almost absurd degrees, and if it works, it's a serious competitive moat. Which brings us to the question, how close it is really. Let me give you the real timeline, not the hype version. Tesla ended Model S and Model X production in Fremont in early May 2026. The plan is to start producing Optimus on the converted line in late July or August. Musk himself admitted that early output will be, in his words, painfully slow because the robot has around 10,000 unique parts and an entirely new production line. The version going into production is Gen 3, which Tesla describes as the first design actually built for mass production. The hands got a big redesign with something like 22 degrees of freedom each, using a tendon-driven system that mimics how human hands work. Funny enough, Musk posted that they'd already scrapped one hand design because it didn't work, so even the reveal version is a moving target. The long-term goal is genuinely staggering. Tesla is targeting capacity of 1 million robots a year, and the new Texas facility is being set up with an eventual ambition of 10 million units annually. For perspective, Tesla made about 1.79 million cars in recent years, so they want to eventually outproduce their entire car business with robots. Now, I love Tesla's approach, but I'm not gonna pretend that they're alone here. The humanoid race in 2026 is crowded and is moving fast. Figure has its Figure 03 running real shifts at BMW's Spartanburg plant, powered by the Helix AI, and it's honestly got the most mature autonomous track record of the bunch. Boston Dynamics has the Electric Atlas, which is the most physically capable robot on the planet, backed by Hyundai, though it costs in the range of $140,000 to $150,000. Agility Robotics has Digit, which has already moved over 100,000 totes in real GXO warehouses and signed paying customers like Toyota. And then there's Unitree out of China, whose G1 starts at around $16,000 and is actually shipping today. Here's a fact that keeps me grounded. On Tesla's own earnings call, Musk admitted that the Optimus units they have are mostly there for learning, not productive work yet. Meanwhile, Agility's robots were already doing real warehouse labor. So while Tesla has the loudest vision, it's not currently the one with the robots earning their keep. The gap matters. Okay, this is where Musk goes full sci-fi, and I kinda love it, even though I don't believe it that much. He described Optimus as potentially Tesla's biggest product, worth $10 trillion or more in revenue, possibly turning Tesla into a company worth tens of trillions. He said every human on Earth will want one, maybe even two, and floated a figure with a 3-to-1 or even a 5-to-1 ratio of robots to people. That's 20 to 30 billion robots worldwide. He even joked about counting them in Roman legions of 5,000. The economic idea behind it is what he calls universal high income, not a universal basic income. The pitch is that if robots can produce basically any good or service, the cost of stuff collapses, work becomes optional, and poverty just sort of evaporates. He literally called Optimus an infinite money glitch. There's also the XAI angle, where Grok handles the conversation and language side, while the FSD-style networks handle the physical movement, so you can just talk to it naturally. Pair that with robo-taxis and Tesla's energy business, and you start to see the bigger picture Musk is painting, a world of sustainable abundance run by autonomous machines. It's enormously ambitious. It might be completely insane, and it's possibly both, and it might lead us to a cyberpunk world, but a vision it certainly is. So here's where I land. I think people who dismiss this entirely are going to look silly in a few years, and I think people who believe every word of this timeline are setting themselves up for a disappointment, especially because we're talking about Musk here. The truth is somewhere in the messy middle, and that's fine. The skeptic's case is real. Tesla missed its own 2025 production target by a mile. They committed to building thousands and reportedly made a few hundred to maybe a couple of thousand robots. Then they had problems with overheating joint motors, transmission wear, and hands that just weren't good enough, plain and simple. A lot of the impressive demos still lean on teleoperation, meaning a human is quietly piloting from somewhere else. And then there's the chip plan, which, while exciting, is expensive and still has to actually survive contact with reality in a factory. But here's why I'm still bullish. Tesla has done this exact movie before. Everyone laughed at the Model 3 ramp, called it a production hell, and said they'd never pull it off. Then they did it. Building hard physical things at massive scale is one of the things this company has repeatedly proven it can grind through. They've got the AI flywheel from millions of cars, custom silicon coming online, and a factory mindset nobody else in robotics has. But then again, for every Model 3, there is a Cybertruck, so the skepticism is still valid. Will there be delays? Absolutely. Will the first robots be clunky and overpriced relative to what they can do? Yeah, probably. Again, like the Cybertruck. But the direction is unmistakable, and the pace of improvement over the last 2 years has been genuinely jaw-dropping. We went from a guy in a suit to a robot folding laundry in about 4 years, and I don't know exactly when the 25,000 version lands on a factory floor near you, but I'd bet good money it's coming, and I, for one, am here for it.